Na nascam dom swe edi in hibuyeg edi dae goten jish. We shab na u ze muksheikh get ze betucho ze tseuzamakanam not. And so welcome to this evening. I just want to say that I'm extremely honored to have been asked to introduce these three gentlemen. One of the important things that I've learned from working with these three individuals is that the family, the sense of family, our traditional way of life, our language, and our identity. Those were the most important things. So it didn't matter that we didn't have running water. It didn't matter that we didn't have roads. Those were the key ingredients, and it took three important individuals to realize that. They didn't just change our future. They gave a future to our communities and our people. And when you look at the impact of that, it wasn't even only to our people, that they actually changed the future not only for our people, but for First Nations in general. I'd like to introduce Dr. Billy Diamond.
Training programs are always very, very interesting. Back in the 60s and 70s, there were always training programs planned for the Cree people, but the Cree people never had a chance to design or develop their own training programs. There was always somebody else that was sending them somewhere else. When someone tells me that it cannot be done, or if someone says, Billy, Indians do not own airlines, or if someone says, Billy, Indians do not build transmission lines, for me that's a challenge. And for me that's when I swing into action and prove them wrong. And we have done it. And you have done it as well. You have proven to everybody that it is possible. The impossible is possible. And the impossible can become a result. You see, in life, you gotta keep certain doors open. You gotta create opportunity for yourself. And you're going through training programs right now. And you're being given this opportunity. Don't let this opportunity shut. Don't shut the door on this opportunity. Keep it open. Where else do you see this across the country? Where else do you see such a training program where young people are taken from their communities and trained and put in an employment place like Hydro-Quebec? I know we're sending you into a very dangerous area, but someone has to go. That's what my dad used to say, well, someone has to start it. And I'm glad it is you. I'm glad that you are making the path.
Wajia, the Niskamoon as we samga. And suggestion that you made a good piece of our daxes. Niskamoon, Wajia is a Hydro-Quebec real. Niskamoon, every time go, Jija, chose my kind of hair. Billy Diamond, Niskamoon, chose my kind of hair. Ted Moses. Niskamoon, as you been stay after your daxes. And I was thinking this evening what I'm going to talk about. But I cannot help it but be able to say to everyone that my wife, Marianne, is with me tonight. We've been married for 32 years. Yes? Okay. When I looked at the leaders that were before me, like Billy and Ted, one of the things I noticed was they had their families together. I wanted to be one that, when he finished his term, that I was still with the same woman that I was married to. Because that's important. Family to me is very important. And I guess I managed to do that. Right, honey? Oh. Boy, I'm getting a thumbs up tonight. I would not have been able to do what I did without Marianne, because she means everything to me. It's all I have. At the end of the day, when I finished my term, that's all I have. She was able to be there with me, to stand with me. And when you have a woman standing beside you, it's amazing what you can do. Fundamentally, my message for you this evening as young leaders of the next Cree generation is that the struggle for Cree rights and indigenous self-determination will never actually be won. I can see that we have made immense progress, and I know that this is due to the courage and determination of the Cree people and successive generations of impressive young Cree leaders like yourselves. You see, Aboriginal people in this country have always had other governments dictate to them what they thought was best for their future. If there's anything that we did as leaders, was to be able to allow and empower our people, that they have the choice, that they have the right to express their rights and express their opinions, and that they can decide for their future. Oh, I almost got carried away, sorry. In the years that followed. Actually, that's what it says here. That we will always have to stand up for our fundamental rights against external governments who do not care as much as we do about Cree rights, who do not care about Cree self-determination, who do not really care about the future of the Cree people in our own traditional lands. Just because the governments of the day are now treating the Crees more or less fairly does not mean that they genuinely respect our fundamental human rights. History shows that they can be here today and gone tomorrow. It's essential to keep asserting our human rights all of the time. I believe that if successive generations of Cree people ever fail to be vigilant and stop protecting or asserting our fundamental rights as Indigenous peoples in Canada and internationally, we Crees will be making a big mistake. If we ever stop asserting Cree rights, even if we feel we have made it, then we will wake up at some point in the future and find that the immense gains we have made were not cast in stone, that once again we are being left behind, being left out, or being excluded, and once again being oppressed. And I believe you are the next generation of defenders of Cree rights. I'm actually very proud of you.
I will now put on my Bernard Landry glasses because I want to look at you clearly. All of these things are possible because of the commitment to renew our relations. There were those who feared that the relations with Hydro-Quebec SCBJ would not improve. The evidence is clear, and we are here today in part to celebrate this fact. The land cannot sustain an ever-increasing Cree population living from hunting, fishing, and trapping. If you look at it, however, our ancestors adapted their way of life to incorporate European technologies. As our people have been done in the past, we must continue to reinvent ourselves as Crees in the modern economic and political situation. Vous, les étudiants de la nation Cree, allez-vous définir en termes de nouvelles technologies avec lesquelles vous serez capable de gagner la vie? En ce faisant, vous continuez une longue tradition Cree de vous déterminant que nous sommes comme peuple. Dans la passe, vos grands-parents et vos parents ont fait face à l'adversité et les sont servis sous toute difficulté. Brèvement dit, quand l'adversité menace, le cri devient menaçant.
You, the students of the Cree Nation, will define your identities, learning new technologies and ways of living. In doing so, you continue the long tradition of creatively defining who we are as people. In the past, our ancestors, our grandparents, and your parents faced adversity and survived the difficulties that they faced. Simply put, when the going gets tough, the Crees get going. Be proud of what they did, and be proud that you have the ability and the perseverance to learn new ways to make a living. The question of where we go from here is always before us. The Crees, as it is always before Quebec. Certainly, we did not agree to a colonial regime in northern Quebec when we signed the James Bay and Northern Quebec Agreement. So development, if it is to continue, will have to be seen by us, the Crees, as beneficial to our future. Without the roads built for development, and without the employment made possible by development and the benefits of development, we would be unable to occupy the full extent of our lands as we do. Only the developers would be able to afford the airplanes to go into the land, but such is not the case. We are on the land when the Hydro-Quebec and mining crews arrive, and they must deal with the Crees as this is still our home. So T.E.H.Q. Merci beaucoup à tous et toutes. Thank you very much to each and every one.
So that concludes this evening's festivities. I feel funny when I say former Grand Chief, because I think after listening to all three of them speak this evening, I'm not sure if they'll ever be former anything. So feel free to come up to the Grand Chiefs and ask them questions on anything you like. So thank you all for coming. Drive safely.